What up? My name is Verse and I'm doing a mix breakdown for the song If I Like Her off of my new EP, Maybe I'm the Problem.
And you for real about it? Then I'm down. Just let me know when you're ready.
Alright, so the three go-to plugins that I always put on my vocal chain is gonna be Pro Q3, which is a EQ, pretty much to clean up my vocals and make it sit right within the beat. I definitely use R compressor, and I'll say the CLA2A Waves plugin compressor to kind of like hold everything together, like all my vocals at the end. And I'll play it real quick to show y'all what it sounds like.
If I like to put her on a flight, I ain't doing much, shorty, that's just sunlight. I ain't gotta touch her, I ain't gotta pipe. This whole invite's just how you make me feel. It's something about the way you make me feel. That's for real. That's for real, for real, for real.
And yeah, that's pretty much the main three plugins that add, you know, the oomph to the whole vocal.
Before I came, why even bring it up? Shit, I don't know. Get your mind off, get new nails.
Card tests, I believe, are very important. I feel like every mixing engineer knows that. Every mastering engineer knows that. And if you didn't know by now, I do mix my own stuff, so I definitely do the card test. And I do one just sitting in the car and then riding around, because I feel like all the background noise when you're riding around does kind of affect the whole mix in general whenever you play it back and you hear it. But I definitely believe in card tests, so every engineer that doesn't do that, do that.
Flow so smooth and no contemplation. These men that ain't men give a hesitation.
When I'm recording, definitely the first thing that I lay down is the melody, just because I feel like that's kind of what captures, you know, the vibe, like from the jump of how you're feeling that day or the emotions that you're trying to bring out, and really just it kind of sets the tone where you're at with the beat. It's pretty much like the foundation of the whole song, especially in this day and age. I feel like everybody's into melodies now, auto-tune, things like that. So that's the first thing that I lay down. And then, you know, if I feel like I just want to add a little rapping segment, then that's what I do last. But I guess it all depends on the beat. You know, if it's a boom bap beat, then of course I'm a rap first. But 95% of the time, I lay down the melody first, whether that's just me mumbling or if I already have, you know, words written, and I just kind of try and find the melody to that beat on how it's gonna be laid out. But yeah, melody is 95% first whenever I'm recording.
I'ma spin about you, one thing about you. You put in business first and that's king about you.
My inspiration for mixing is definitely gonna be, I'll say 40. 40, he's known as a producer and everything, but he's definitely, you know, in charge of when it comes to mixing as well, and he kind of delegates, you know, where that goes. So definitely a lot of 40. I'll say Alex Toomey. I grew up watching a lot of his videos on how he mixes and everything like that, so he's definitely an inspiration. And I think my favorite album where the mixing and the mastering, I feel like, is just perfect, right in your face and very crisp and clear, is going to be Without Warning by Metro, Offset, and 21 Savage, because I feel like everything just hits your face. And Alex Toomey definitely had a couple tracks on there that he mixed. So I took a lot of inspiration from that. When that released, from that point on, like within all my mixes, I always try and kind of get a sound just like that. Because the drums are in your face, the vocals in your face, and it just sits well all together. So that definitely inspired me to up my quality, up my mixing, and kind of the direction where I want to take my music and how I want it to sound.
If I like to put her on a flight, I ain't doing much, shorty, that's just sunlight. I ain't gotta touch it.
When I'm in the studio, the equipment that I need, especially when mixing, is definitely going to be an Apollo Twin. That's the interface that I use, and definitely my Neumann TLM 102 microphone. Those are the two, I feel like, important and foundation tools that are kind of gonna get where you want to be at, especially when it comes to quality. And the Apollo Twin, you know, it has a built-in preamp, and for the engineers that know all about that, you know that's a must-have, because it's definitely carrying all the legwork than if you don't have that equipment, you know. And the equipment is definitely expensive as hell, so I understand if there's certain engineers or certain artists that record and they don't have that. But for me, I'm all about quality. I'm all about, you know, what's gonna sound the best and what's gonna make the end result as good as it can be. And so those are definitely the two pieces of equipment that I feel like I need, as well as the monitors. I forgot to add, I definitely want to upgrade my monitors. I have the Yamahas, I believe the 7-inch ones. I definitely want to upgrade to the Atom Audio monitors, but those are the ones that I use for now and what I've been using for the past, I don't know, like 7 years.
Slow down, we could build a foundation. And all the girls.
Something that's gonna get me in my zone is definitely a topic. If I'm creating a song, I have to have like something that I'm going through, like specifically, and it can't be like everywhere, it has to be something that I'm focused on at that moment. So if I'm going through a heartbreak, or if I'm dealing with some BS from a girl, or, a fake friend or somebody, some situation I'm going through, I always kind of in my head accumulate and organize what I'm going through and what I want to talk about. So if I hear a beat, then that kind of depicts where I put my emotion and and the topic that I'm going to talk about within that beat. So I definitely feel like a must is the topic of what I'm going to talk about.
That's at the back of my mind. The way life works, it just happens in time. For the night, baby, won't you?
Workflow, especially when mixing, is 1 through 100 is definitely 100. That's how important it is. Because, as a mixing engineer, if you look right here, I have everything organized, so I know where I'm at from, the beat stems. I have it color coordinated, all the leads and the sounds, the melodies within the beat, in its own section, the drums in its own section. And then when it comes to the vocals, I definitely have, the bus channel all right next to each other. So I'll have a hook channel, and then I'll have the actual channels that I recorded on of the hook, and I'll have them all right next to each other. And some things I find in like YouTube videos whenever I'm looking for tips and advice for mixing is a lot of people don't do that. And when that happens, you kind of get lost in where everything's at, and you got to go back here and back there. And I just think it's very important to have everything right there, and be as efficient as possible. So that way you could work faster, and you know where everything's at, and you know where to put it when it comes to plugins and, using your bus and side chaining, and all that goes together, and it's going to make your workflow faster if you're organized. So definitely, for sure, workflow is pretty important to me, and that's what I learned throughout the years.
That's for real, for real, for real. Every shot gets easier.
I feel like this song is kind of like a learning experience that you can learn off of me and what I'm talking about. And if you get the gist of the album, everybody's gonna interpret it in their own way. But what I wanted to do is pretty much say it's okay to, like, especially for men, it's okay to cater to your female or girl you're trying to pursue, and pretty much be a gentleman, have a conversation with her, like genuinely get to know her. And I think that was the main point I was trying to get across with this song, outside of the story that I have within this whole project. And something I feel like I want people to take away from this project is be very mindful of who you're trusting, who you're building a relationship with. Be aware and pay close attention to, little signs within that person, whether that's a female with a man or a man with a female. All that is important, I feel like, going into a relationship, whether that's a friendship or a relationship. And with this song specifically, men, do not be afraid to actually be genuinely interested, even if you end up getting hurt in the end. Life is a learning experience, and you're gonna love more than once. You're gonna be in love more than once. And so when you take a hit, get up and keep going. You're gonna find that one person that's gonna be solid with you, and you're gonna be solid with them, and y'all gonna live life and find happiness forever and ever.
But the way you make me feel, that's for real. That's for real.
I feel like I always added, layers to my vocals, but not as impactful as, this song, or even just the songs in the project. But with this song, I added they're small, but they're very impactful. So if I play the verse here.
Go ahead, let's have fun. Go ahead, let's get drunk. Night still young, yeah, the night's still young. You probably think that I'm just trying to get some. Of course, baby, but that's at the back of my mind. The way life works, it just happens in time. For the night, baby, won't you be my slime? I'm trying to converse and pick your brain. Can I get a sense of which lane that you aim? Talk about.
So you'll hear these little like high-pitched vocals within the verse, and when it's all put together, it definitely elevates it and it adds another layer. I mean, it just puts you in a different space. And I feel like, little things like that definitely go a long way. And I've done that previously to certain songs, but I feel like with this new sound that I've created and, the melodies that I did within this verse or even the hook, that really just gives it that oomph, that punch. And I kind of try to add that with multiple vocals within each song. So it's similar, but it's different from what I've done before. I guess it's just the way I went about it is what's different. Something that I've learned from creating this project, bitches ain't shit. Nah, but I've learned a lot about myself and what I want within a female creating this project. But as far as the mixing standpoint, I really took a different angle at, how I mix my vocals, where I wanted to sit at, especially working with stems. Within the whole session, stems, you could really elevate the beat and the vocal and have it sit exactly within the beat right here. Usually you'll have like a 2-track. People will mix with a 2-track, which is just a wave file of the beat and the vocal, and you can't really play around too much with how your vocal sits in the beat. So what I did this go around is mix with the stems, the whole beat. So then that way I could fit the vocal right in the middle, right in your face, and the beat is kind of slapping on the side. And when it comes to like the kick and the snares, it's definitely gonna be in your face with the vocals. But as far as certain melodies that IMG created within the beat, I could put it like right here and use panning techniques and things like that, which will make the song in general sound way more bigger and way more grand than what you can do with a 2-track. And I believe everybody should mix with stems for their beats, and if you can't afford to buy it, if you're taking it from a YouTube producer and you can't afford to pay for that, that's cool. But if you do get a chance to work with stems and you're a mixing engineer, I would take that chance. I would take that, that opportunity to do that and learn that, because I promise you your song will elevate to a more grander end result. So that's what I learned with this project, and I'm never going back to a 2-track. My name is Verse. We just did a mix breakdown for the song If I Like Her off of my EP, Maybe I'm the Problem. Enjoy my time with you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one, and I'll catch you on the next project.